Introducing to you first, he'll be fighting out of the red corner with the trunk colors of green and black. He weighed in at 62.05 kilograms, and his record stands 3 wins, 5 losses, 2 draws, with one of those wins coming by way of knockout. Hailing from Port Elizabeth, South Africa, please welcome Lukhanyo Kaptein. And his opponent will be fighting out of the blue corner with the trunk colors of white, black, and gold. His weight, 63.3 kilograms. His record, an excellent one. 15 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw, with 7 of those big wins coming by way of knockout victory. He hails from Swakopmund, Namibia. Please welcome Albinius Felisianu.
8 rounds, Stefano. It is Albinius Felisianu from Namibia in the white. It's the first time that he's fighting outside of Namibia, though, so a little bit of a different experience here for the 33-year-old veteran. But he doesn't have to make too much of an adjustment, just a short trip over here. But as we said, Danny Boy taking this fight very, very seriously. Before he came out here, he spent almost a week in isolation in Swakop in one of the hotels here. He didn't want to be distracted by anything, and he's coming out firing.
You know, Lukhanyo Kaptein, very, very slippery boxer. He's a tough guy. You know, he's in the army. He's an army guy. The problem many times is if he scores something good, if he scores something good, like right there, like he do that nice little jab to the body. He doesn't follow up too often, and that, you know, that basically leaves him open. You know, that's like giving away your possible advantages. Danny Boy, on the other hand, we know him. He's a tough guy. He comes to fight, explosive power. You watch everything he throws is thrown with mean intent.
Okay, break. Then push him. Come. Box up.
Another interesting fact about Danny Boy, you know, the man is an entrepreneur. He's pretty much a businessman. He reminds me of, he's got like the Floyd Money Mayweather style of working in life. You know, he's out there to make a living.
The last time he was in the ring, December 2017, and he knocked Laston Kaira out in the 2nd round there. A massive left hook that sent the man from Malawi crashing to the canvas. A very, very lethal left hook does Albinius Felisianu, the 33-year-old from Namibia, have. At the moment, Lukhanyo Kaptein just taking his time to get settled in this fight, but Albinius Felisianu trying to make life as difficult for Kaptein, not allowing him to get settled just yet. Oh, big.
Good work right there from Danny Boy Felisianu. Body shot, I always love it when I see a guy go to the body and then finish up at the head. Goes down and finish upstairs. Love that.
Especially early on, just try and soften your opponent a little bit. Get those body shots in early, because you know when it comes to round 4, round 5, that's when the damage really is going to start showing.
Exactly. That's an investment that you have made into your future, technically. Speaking of Danny Boy, a man with many investments. Very, very good. Right hook to the body. A short right to the body by Danny Boy.
Made his debut all the way in 2007. That's a long time ago. And as we said, he has not lost a fight since September 2008. So at the age of 33, it only seems like he's reaching his peak in the sport of boxing. Most as entertaining to watch as the boxers themselves, because throughout every single fight tonight, he is showing exactly what to do. He is getting involved. I think it's if he gets excited enough, we might even just see him climbing into the ring to try and get involved here. A very, very passionate boxing fan.
Stop. Captain, I said stop, ne? Don't pull him down, ne? Don't pull him down. Stop, box on.
Felisianu is still going after Lukhanyo Kaptein. And again, it's Kaptein just trying to figure out, trying to keep his eye on his opponent, trying to see how he's going to get the upper hand over Albinius Felisianu. But it seems like Felisianu is just slipping a little bit. Not quite sure if it's new boots or perhaps a different style that he's trying, but he's just slipping around a little bit, and he's just throwing him off balance as soon as he tries to get up close.
The way Danny Boy is fighting, you know, he's throwing nothing but big shots. He's not doing much to really set up those big shots. It's like he's got the, you know, the conclusion of the fight has already been replayed in his head. And it's just a matter of him cueing it, getting it in play position.
Just shows what a big occasion this is for Albinius Felisianu. You said he really worked hard for this fight, and the fact that he did have that alone time in Swakopmund before he came out to make sure that he didn't have any distractions around him, that he could just focus purely on this bout.
Beautiful right hook right there by Albinius to the body of Lukhanyo Kaptein. I think he's a bit over anxious. He needs to calm down. It's already second round. He should be starting to calm down. I think he needs to calm down instead of rushing, because it looks like he wants to end this fight real early. He wants to make a big statement.
Okay, break. Look at, stop holding now, man. Stop holding. Come, box on.
There's plenty of people, sponsors, promoters watching, trying to make a big impact as Albinius Felisianu, but as you said, that's not necessarily going to win him the fight here.
This fight is playing out pretty much in a way that I expected, because Albinius, he's got some hard shots, some big shots. And once he catches you, it's pretty much going to be good night for you. Lukhanyo Kaptein, very good boxer. He tends to run a little too much. And as soon as he gets hit, he wants to get out of it. And that's exactly what he's doing. He's pretty much either holding or running, something like that. Very evasive, very evasive.
10 seconds, come, box on.
But he's boxing real well also. Because that is part of boxing. That's why they call it the sweet science.
Time.
A lot of experience.
I think
that's
a little too much Vaseline there on the face of Danny Boy. I'm surprised the referee's letting that go. I think that's a little too much.
Again, it's Albinius Felisianu, the man showing more intent in this fight at the moment. Lukhanyo Kaptein very much on defensive, and Kaptein just losing his footing.
I'm not going to warn you again, man. I'm not going to warn you again. Come, box on.
Danny needs to take his time, calm down, take his time, set his man up, use that jab, use the probing. I mentioned earlier, the jab is the most important punch in boxing, in my opinion. Okay, and it's probably the most underappreciated and also underused in many instances. This is exactly what Danny needs to be doing. He needs to be setting up those big punches with a jab. We saw the same problem earlier with Nick, where the jab wasn't employed enough to create those opportunities for you to put your big punch right there.
After the first 2 rounds, when you haven't landed that knockout punch like maybe Danny Boy was expecting to do, you need to change tactic a little bit, and that's exactly what you're talking about. You need to put those combinations together, get up close, land a few buddy shots as well. But again, it's Felisianu going for that big right hook, trying to go over the top, trying to land that knockout punch, but Kaptein there showing some good strength as well.
Kaptein doing some good work there, just countering Danny and stepping away, getting out of danger. He's doing some really good work in this round. And that's very good work, making Danny miss and countering him, slipping out in and out. It's good work.
Keep it clean.
Can't fault that.
Yeah, it does look like Kaptein is very confident in what he's doing at the moment. He feels that if he's able to do this long enough, maybe he'll spot a bit of a weakness in Felisianu, because you can just look into the eyes. He's very focused, very controlled, very set. But that now,
And
Albinius Felisianu taking.
Just as we speak, Johan, there come that left hook from Danny. Kaptein needs to stick to doing what he was doing, which is just jabbing and slipping around, lateral movement, countering.
Okay, break. That's it. Step back.
You know, he needs to do everything he was doing. The pull counter, he needs to do the pull counter, right? But don't get overconfident and try to hang with Danny.
10 seconds.
Because Danny's got a lot of power.
Break. Step back. Boxer.
Again, it's Lukhanyo Kaptein losing his gum guard towards the end of that round. The second time that we've seen that happen in this bout. Lukhanyo Kaptein, who had a strong round in that the previous one, a good 3 minutes for him. But you would feel that Albinius Felisianu is still the favorite in this fight because of his experience.
Don't use your shoulder. Stop. Break. Don't use your shoulder. Come, boxer.
Good call by the referee. You know, boxers love to sneak in little dirty things, like that shoulder work. It's a good trick. Remember, Floyd Mayweather used to use that shoulder. He would actually, not that shoulder, sorry, he used to use the elbow. He actually stick your elbow right in your chin until he started getting called out for that.
Boxer. This is not a dance.
The referee also reminding the two fighters that he is in charge, telling them this is not a dancing venue, this is a boxing ring. And again, it's Lukhanyo Kaptein just hanging back a little bit. It almost looks like he's waiting for Albinius Felisianu to drop his guard so that he can try something new. But it seems to be the tactic that he's employing, and he looks quite comfortable with it. He doesn't seem to be panicking at all at this stage.
Yeah, he seems quite confident, Lukhanyo Kaptein. He seems like he's watching. He can see everything that's happening. And, you know, normally you get knocked out by the punch that you don't see. You know, the punch that you don't see, that's the one that knocks you out. And the fact that I see him keeping an eye on everything, all the proceedings, it makes the job a little bit more tenuous for Albinius Felisianu.
Break, step back. Stop holding, Captain. Stop holding. Come, boxer.
Felisianu is still trying to go for that big knockout blow, but he needs to try and put some combinations together. Yeah, the crowd also perhaps getting a little bit restless and perhaps looking to try and motivate Albinius Felisianu to try and get.
Felisianu seems to have
be in more control.
Figured out that he needs to throw something to the body to slow down Lukhanyo Kaptein, because those body shots, they really do halt your movement, so to speak. You know, they help to minimize your movement. You can fake him to the top and go downstairs.
Okay, stop.
But I got to hand it to Lukhanyo Kaptein. He's doing a good job of managing the distance between him and Danny Boy.
We're almost halfway through these 8 rounds. And it is Albinius Felisianu. He would have hoped to have knocked out his opponent by now, but it's Lukhanyo Kaptein who seems to be knowing exactly how to counter what Albinius Felisianu is doing. Again, the referee getting involved. And that is the end of round 4. So we are now halfway through this bout, and still either of these two fighters with an opportunity to take control. A lot of excitement here at the Mystico Equestrian Centre. Just a reminder, coming up later, it's a junior lightweight bout and Western Cape provincial title eliminator. That between Lunga Stimele from South Africa, as well as Maiklomo Majono, the 24-year-old. They call him the Axe. And the main event of the night, it's for the vacant WBF Africa Lightweight Championship. And that one, David Rajuli coming up against Jonas Segu from Tanzania. But Albinius Felisianu still made to work very, very hard. And as you can hear, the crowd is getting pumped up for what is to come later on tonight. But they'll be backing the South African, Lukhanyo Kaptein, home support for Kaptein. Albinius Felisianu, as we said earlier, the first time that he's fighting outside of Namibia, so a different challenge for him. Packing your gear, traveling, getting on the plane, coming down to South Africa. But he still came into this fight with his experience as the favorite.
I think Albinius could do a better job of cutting the ring off, because Lukhanyo, he just, you know, he's getting away from him. He's running the whole night. And if he's not careful, he'll end up, you know, chasing this guy all night. It can be frustrating for you if you're there looking for a fight, you're looking for confrontation. Yet, the guy that you're facing, he's looking, it's like a chess match. He's there to dance all night. And the thing about it, as he's dancing, he keeps putting in those little sneaky little shots, which are collecting points.
It does seem like Albinius Felisianu is now just starting to get a little bit frustrated.
And that's what I would like to see. I would like to see Albinius doing more of that, putting that jab, using that jab to set up the big shots. He spent, I think, the last 4 rounds so far just swinging big shots because he's looking for the one-shot knockout. Boxing doesn't really work like that all the time. Many times it's about the skills. You got to be out there and set things up. It's the same in life. You know, you don't just get out there and all of a sudden you make a huge chunk of money and there you got success. You got to set things up for you to be successful. It's like one step in front of the next. That's how everything is created. There's a foundation, there's the next level and the successive level until you get something that's great built.
Heading towards the end of round 5, this is also when the body starts tiring a little bit and perhaps the concentration levels starts to drop, and that's maybe what Lukhanyo Kaptein is waiting for, an opportunity to land a couple of big punches on Albinius Felisianu if his concentration level drops. But a man with as much experience as Felisianu, you don't expect that to happen. But we are now going to head into round 6.
It's a great night of competitive boxing here, brought to you by Kalakota Promotions in conjunction with Kwese Sports, the sponsors, Dash Organization, as well as Damascus Boxing. And Digital Cash is Dash.
Every time at the beginning of a round, it does seem like Albinius Felisianu comes out all guns blazing, and I think Lukhanyo Kaptein has realized that if he's just able to survive the 30 seconds to the first minute, then he's able to start putting a couple of combinations together and also start landing a few punches.
Yeah, you know, you're quite right, Johan. It's the kind of thing where Albinius Felisianu needs to fight for the whole 3 minutes. But to do that, it's not just about going out there and throwing the big punches. He needs to use a persistent jab, you know, something where he keeps peppering Lukhanyo, setting him up, putting him in the right position, so he could drop his big bombs on him.
Step back, stop holding, stop holding. Come, box up.
Felisianu, they're signaling to Kaptein, get closer. Come, bring something at me. What have you got? What have you got?
Yeah, what Danny Boy has realized is that Lukhanyo Kaptein is countering him, right? So how do you fight a counterpuncher? How do you beat a counterpuncher? You have to counterpunch the counterpuncher. That's one of the ways to beat a counterpuncher. So, you know, I think that's what he's realizing, and he figures that's the best thing to do is to kind of lure him in, kind of throw something and lure him in, so he throws something and then counter.
Tommy, you've spent a lot of time in the ring. How difficult is it to change your tactics? You've prepared for months and months, and you finally get to the ring. You think that you've got a tactic that's going to work, but now all of a sudden you need to change to plan B, change to plan C. How difficult is it to make that change, especially during a round like this?
To make that adjustment, absolutely. You know, the thing is, if you haven't trained your mind and your body, you know, and making adjustments. Many guys, they just fall down. You know, they just kind of don't stand up to the test. It's a difficult thing to do if you're not familiar with it. But obviously, if you understand that things can switch, things change, and you prepare yourself, you're able to adjust mid-round, mid-fight.
Okay, great. 10 seconds, né? 10 seconds. Come, box on.
And especially guys that have experience, you know, if they have experience, you should be able to do that.
I don't think, as I said earlier, I don't think it will be the last time, because a lot of people are really, really enjoying the boxing that they've come to witness. And again, it's Albinius Felisianu with the early intent during this fight, and again, Lukhanyo Kaptein not backing.
It's a great place, this Mystical Equestria, huh? Designed for horses, but boxers are fighting here tonight.
Great atmosphere that is currently being created here. Singing and dancing going on in the crowd, and plenty of dancing going on here in the ring at the moment as well. Lukhanyo Kaptein with his fancy footwork trying to evade the punches of Albinius Felisianu. And as we said earlier, the first minutes of the round, Albinius Felisianu all over Lukhanyo Kaptein. But so far, Kaptein is able to survive those early onslaughts, and then he's able to also try and get a little bit of momentum.
Break. Go to that corner. Come, Lukhanyo, come. Back. You speed it again, I'm going to deduct a point.
It's a very odd moment for the referee to decide to put the mouth guard in Lukhanyo Kaptein's mouth. I thought he would have waited until there's a break in the action before he does that.
Oh, that's
a big left hook there from Albinius Felisianu. That's exactly what he was looking for.
Okay, break.
And almost looks like a rugby tackle, a rugby tip tackle there from Lukhanyo Kaptein. You can see that he's getting frustrated here against. The referee saying, do that again and you will be disqualified, but that is usually a sign of a man in trouble.
Exactly. You know, that type of trick, really, it's really to try to break the rhythm of Albinius Felisianu. If you remember Pernell Whitaker, Sweet Pea, they used to call him. He used to do that kind of thing. He'd slip to the bottom, and then he'd pull your leg, because you can't punch when one leg is up off the ground. It takes your balance away, but it also kind of disrupts your flow. And I think that's what he's trying to do here to Mr. Danny Boy, Albinius Felisianu.
And the tactics seem to have worked, but it does look like a bit of a split lip there for Kaptein. And all of a sudden it's a different ball game, this, because Felisianu now realizes he can literally smell some blood. He's got 15 seconds left here in the 7th round.
That's a big round there that happened right now for Albinius Felisianu.
10 seconds, 10 seconds. 10 seconds. Okay, break. I said break, man. You're holding me.
Felisianu complaining that Kaptein is holding him, but Lukhanyo Kaptein doing very, very well in the latter part of that 7th round to hold on, to take it into the 8th and final round. But a big moment this for Felisianu.
Lukhanyo Kaptein basically just trying to stay away from getting knocked out, which is, it's a good idea, you know. Try to disrupt, try to discourage your opponent with silly tactics, you know, like that, like those wrestling tactics. I mean, that's unnecessary, really. I mean, that's really unnecessary, and really should not be allowed in a boxing ring.
Box on.
Felisianu with a big smile on his face as we go into this 8th and final round of this welterweight bout.
Felisianu likes the fact that the holding will not be allowed in this round, because he looks to make a statement. He wants that knockout.
Okay, break. Don't do that.
Tommy, if it goes to the judges, do you think Felisianu's done enough to make sure that he stays unbeaten since 2008?
Well, he had a big round, the last in the 7th. It was a 10-8 round. And even though the rounds have been close, most of the fight, he's been the aggressor. He's been pursuing Lukhanyo Kaptein throughout. And, part of the whole thing with judging is that they look for clean, effective punching, right? They look for clean, effective punches. At the same time, he has scored some very big punches, and he has missed a lot too. But at the same time, Lukhanyo Kaptein has been peppering him with those little, small, tiny little shots. It really don't look like they have any kind of effect. But they count. They count.
Lukhanyo Kaptein still just doing the basics right here against Albinius Felisianu. And Felisianu is still trying to go for that big final punch, and Kaptein blocking out of that one nicely.
That's a good left to the body right there by Danny Boy. Good left uppercut to the body. I always like that, almost like an uppercut cross hook kind of thing. There he throws it again. It's a beautiful shot. And I don't know why Danny Boy wasn't throwing a shot much earlier. He should have put that shot much earlier. Several times he should have used it. It would have slowed down Lukhanyo Kaptein substantially. But the guy's quite slippery. Credit to him. He's made this fight very competitive with his slipperiness.
Lukhanyo Kaptein making Albinius Felisianu work for the entire 8 rounds here. The 33-year-old from Namibia has had a proper workout. Kaptein not quite sure what the referee is trying to tell him, but we are now heading into the final few seconds. And it is Albinius Felisianu looking to end this fight on a high note. Still, it's Kaptein moving back a little bit, trying to evade these big punches that Felisianu is throwing at him, but it does look like we will be going to the judges.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout went the distance of 8 rounds, and here are your judges' score totals. Elroy Marshall scores about 77-75. Siphiwe Ngoba scores about 78-75, with Clifford Mbelu scoring the bout 79-73. All to your winner by way of unanimous decision victory, Albinius Danny Boy Felisianu.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought would happen. I thought Danny had done just enough to squeak past. Despite all that, slippery, evasive boxing from Lukhanyo Kaptein. Danny Boy, good boxer, a lot of good power. We expect good things from him. But I think he's another guy that I think needs to start being pushed to the next tier, to the next level.
He says he's coming back to South Africa. He wants to take all the titles, he says, but for tonight he'll be able to celebrate win number 16 in his career. This is what you can expect.